The United Kingdom is also facing some serious economic problems. Now, the ratings agency Moody's has downgraded the United Kingdom's economic outlook to negative from stable. The agency's analysts have cited policy uncertainty amidst high inflation and weaker growth prospects for the shift in the economic outlook. Now, you must be wondering as to why this rating system is important. Well, rating agencies rate a country on the strength of its economy, and then they provide governments with a score based on the likelihood that they'll be able to pay back the debt. So what exactly does this mean for Britain, which is already battling political instability and high cost of living? In reality, the ratings affects how much it costs for the governments to borrow money from the international markets. While the United Kingdom's economic outlook has been graded as negative, Moody's credit rating for the United Kingdom still remains unchanged at AA3, which is one of its highest ratings. And according to the agency, the rating shows a reflection of the country's economic resilience. So for Britain, the cost for the government to borrow money in the international markets is not likely to increase. But for the new Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, it will be a bit of an uphill task to lower the government debt, after official figures revealed that borrowings have swelled to some $22 billion in September. Now, the newly appointed Chancellor was due to announce a plan the 31st of October will be aiming at bringing down the public debt down. Jeremy Hunt has said that he will do whatever it takes to try and restore public confidence in British finances, as the country is struggling to cope with the galloping inflation and also the cost of living crisis.
We are a country that funds our promises and pays our debts. And when that is questioned, as it has been, this government will take the difficult decisions necessary to ensure there is trust and confidence in our national finances.
So this, of course, is one of the big challenges for Britain, the economy just ahead of the winter, because this is now going to be a crucial moment for the British people. On the one hand, the politics in Britain is in a bit of a tailspin. The possible contenders who are being looked at are Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. On the other is the serious problem of cost of living crisis that people in Britain have to, in fact, go through this winter. Rishi Sunak, remember, had said that the autumn was going to be really hard. If autumn was going to be hard, then winter is going to be way worse. It's going to be a long and a bitter winter, and it remains to be seen as to have the British government, whoever now takes charge at 10 Downing Street, will be able to take the British economy forward from this moment on. It is still not very clear as to how things will proceed from here, but whoever will occupy the 10 Downing Street office will have a serious job on the hand to try and restore public confidence in terms of the government's vision for Britain's economy, and then to try slowly work his or her way into restoring the confidence of the public, one, and also addressing the cost of living crisis, and also the very big issue, the cost of energy, because a lot of people will be made to choose between either eating or heating. These are some of the big issues which people in Britain will, of course, have to contend with. It's not an easy task, but it is being hoped that by the 31st of October, a new leader will, of course, be elected, and once the leader is elected, he or she will have to hit the ground running. Will the Tory party members repose their faith in Boris Johnson again? Because remember, the Tory party is also very closely looking at the next general election, which is not due until the end of 2024. And the Labour Party has been calling for an immediate snap polls, for an immediate general election, because Keir Starmer, the leader of Labour, has said that the Tory party has lost the mandate of the people and it needs to go back to the people to go and renew its mandate. This is what the Labour has been insisting on, where in several opinion polls it's now emerging that Labour clearly has stolen a lead over the Tories, who appear to be in complete disarray. And according to many analysts, it's being said that this is the worst and this is the weakest that the Tories have been in a very long time, or perhaps in their entire history.
For us all to get behind Liz Truss, country want, that's what they need, and that's what they deserve. And by the way,
All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of how the leadership race in Britain is likely to pan out, we're being joined in by Mr. Sunny Hundal, who is a journalist who's joining us live from London. Now, Mr. Hundal, this is a bit of a deja vu moment for people in Britain, because after Liz Truss announced her resignation, the candidates that are most likely to be in the running, we know for a fact that Rishi Sunak is in the running for the top job. Penny Mordaunt has also announced the fact that she's thrown her hat into the ring. But Boris Johnson, his close aides and confidants have said that he has the backing of about 50 plus members of parliament, and he is looking to make a return to 10 Downing Street. What more can you tell us?
I don't think it's likely that Boris Johnson is going to make it to the final two, to be honest. At this stage, if he should have been closer to 100, and the fact that he isn't means that I think Rishi Sunak is going to be the next Prime Minister.
It's interesting that you mentioned Rishi Sunak is going to be the next Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak clearly has the support of the members of Parliament. In the previous round of the elections as well, he was the front runner when the members of Parliament were electing the leader. But the leader also needs to be elected by the party members. And when it came for an election with the party members, Rishi Sunak was beaten hands down by Liz Truss. So any candidate who stands up against Rishi Sunak would believe either Penny Mordaunt or Boris Johnson that they may have an upper hand when the voting goes to the party workers.
Well, for a start, if Rishi Sunak is the only one who makes it over 100, then it's not going to go to party members. He becomes the leader of the Conservative Party and therefore the Prime Minister. And the other thing you have to remember is that only a few weeks ago, the vote went to the Conservative Party members, and they really fluffed it up by giving the mantle to Liz Truss. So I don't think they have much credibility in this process. Right now, I suspect Conservative Party MPs don't want the vote to go to the members. They would prefer that everyone unites behind Rishi Sunak, and they'd prefer it that he becomes de facto the leader and therefore the Prime Minister. You know, they made a mistake with Liz Truss. I don't think they're going to go along with making another mistake with Boris Johnson.
You know, my last question to you is, Britain, of course, is staring at a very difficult economic situation. The winter, as they say, is coming. People in Britain, some of them will have to make the choice between eating or heating. In the event that Rishi Sunak gets the top job at 10 Downing Street, do you think he has it in him to turn things around for the British economy?
That's a more difficult question. I think there is going to be a criticism of Rishi Sunak in that he's not going to do enough for the poorest people in society. He's going to focus on sort of the fairly traditional conservative approach, which is to try and stimulate the economy by giving tax cuts to the richest. And the danger with that is that it doesn't really help people, as you mentioned, who are having problems heating their homes. So, I don't think Rishi Sunak, is going to suddenly turn things around the fortune of the Conservative Party or this country. I think that he's going to pretty much pursue the same policies that Boris Johnson did earlier. So in 2 years' time, I suspect the Conservative Party is going to get even more unpopular and let the Labour Party win the next election.
All right, some pretty dire predictions there for the Tory party there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sunny Hundal, for joining us from London and getting us that perspective.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.